I'm live. Just fine.
Okay.
We have a couple minutes.
Well, she's on top of me today.
Well, last time we had public comment on the Board of Adjustments meeting, and it wasn't meant for that. But it looks funny on my minutes when
Looks funny
they're
on your
talking
minutes?
on an item that's not on
Mm-hmm.
that agenda.
So you gave us 10 minutes? So you gave us 10 minutes?
I tried to underestimate it. I'd rather be shorter, that way we don't have to wait.
Right, and be able to just
I
step right
typed in
into the next
6:15 to
one?
begin with, and then I was like, I get burned every time I do that.
You're like, we've done that before.
Yeah, because usually it's about a 5-minute wait.
Mhm.
Yep. The last time we had the same plat, we had a lot of questions. So I don't know. We also had Mark and Mike here, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Finally bought me a mouse.
I was like, we're kind of bad to have all this space over here,
Yeah,
though.
Mark took our-
Yeah, it doesn't say you need a scoot.
It helps.
Yep. Okay, let's call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody that's here tonight and appreciate y'all coming out and to listen and participate in the community, in your community's lawmaking and activities. If everybody would stand for the invocation, please.
Let us pray. Dear Father, as we gather tonight, we stop to thank you for all the blessings you have given us. We ask for your continued grace and protection as we continue throughout these days where so much hurt surrounds us. We pray especially for those suffering great loss from violence. Please be with the children and parents in our community as they attempt to understand what has happened. Bring them to you for comfort and love. We thank you for the first responders and their service, not just to our city, but to others in need, especially Officer Lugo and her generous spirit of service while in Uvalde. We ask special blessings on the family of Gary Ellis as he has left this life after years of service to others in this city. We are grateful that he was a part of the Richwood community. Father, we ask for guidance and wisdom, love and protection. We pray this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas.
Honor the Texas flag.
Pledge
Allegiance to thee,
Texas,
one state,
under
under
God,
God, one and indivisible.
Okay, and this is the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for June 13th, 2022. Do I have, or first of all, let me call the roll of council members and let the record reflect that Councilmember Mike Johnson and Councilmember Matt Yarbrough are not here tonight. Do we have any public comments for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
My name is Chris Clinton. This is my wife, Taylor. So we own property over in Oakwood Shores. Most of y'all are probably aware of it already. The 31511 Bayou Bend property.
Yes, sir.
So what it comes down to essentially is our barn's a little bit close to the building line. So they've actually stopped work on our house and our barn and everything. We built 8 foot too close, so we're sitting at 17 foot 2 inches from the property line. So we did make a mistake in doing that, but I think it was kind of a series of events that led up to that. And partially the city letting us go ahead, giving us the green sticker when we didn't have our form surveys done. So the form surveys obviously would have told you the location of the house and the barn and everything. So potentially we have, you know, a lot of money tied up in the barn and the house pad, which the house is perfectly legal. There's no issues with, you know, the setting of it. But now we're running into the issue with the barn, you know, and potentially having to move it, hopefully not. So we put in for a variance and everything already. Hopefully, we're really just here asking y'all today maybe to host a special meeting amongst yourselves and discuss the paperwork and everything.
I believe on next month's agenda
Yes, sir.
for the meeting on it, so.
Yes, sir. We just wanted to attend today and just give a comment.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other? No. All right. First order of business to the consent agenda, item number 6, approval of minutes from meeting held on February 14th, 2022. And approval of minutes on meeting held April 11th, 2022. Any discussion? Or do we have a motion?
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion made by Councilmember Strawn to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion, or a second, by Councilmember Escalante. Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Sorry, Bob.
Langford, aye.
Got to get the names back. I've had a long weekend, or a long week. All righty. Let the record reflect that the motion is carried. Discussion and action items. Item number 7. Discussion action items, preliminary review and action on replat of 24 plots of the 6.223 acre tract of Glenwood Bio subdivision, also known as Marquee at Magnolia. So do we have some?
If he wants to speak on it.
Okay.
You want to speak on that?
From what I can tell, it's the Marquee and Magnolia subdivision, and they put in a request just to change the front building lines. They had originally submitted house plans and requested building lines to be further back. The building lines that they're requesting now are still within codes, still meet, the drainage district approved it, permitting or inspections approved it. We just need to get the replat done so I can file it. I think they're going to submit new house plans.
Okay. Do you have any discussion, sir? Or?
No, I don't have any concern, unless you guys have questions, in which case I'm happy to answer you guys.
Okay. Does council members have any questions or discussion?
You said it's all within code, so there was no reason to...
Their building lines were a lot further back than what our zoning requires.
Right.
So I think they actually just reverted back to R1 code.
The standard?
Mhm.
Okay.
All righty. So do we have any motion or further discussion? Okay. Again, calling for a motion or any further discussion.
So you just need a motion to replat the...
Approve replat.
To approve
the
it, yes,
24
ma'am.
lot, just that, right here. You can read just the 24 lots of the.
Okay, I make a motion to replat the 24 lots of the 6.223 acre tract of Glenwood Bayou subdivision, also known as Marquee at Magnolia.
Okay. Councilmember Strong's made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Langford.
Langford, Councilmember Langford. Yeah, it comes to me sometime a little late. Councilmember Langford made the second. Councilmember Strong, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Langford, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Sorry.
All righty. Let the record show that the motion is carried by all who are.
Sorry, that was a big roach.
Here
Sorry
today.
about that. It startled me.
All right.
It was right next to me.
Okay, so with all business taken care of at this point, we will move to adjournment of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. And we got about 2 minutes before we start the regular council meeting. We are adjourned from Planning and Zoning.
I wish I could have waited for adjournment on that one, but that was too quick.
No, someone jumped on me.
I was afraid he was gonna fly. I can't handle that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, let's find the right. I think I just closed it. I hate these links because they don't want you to go back.
They don't open a different tab?
I keep trying to give that to you.
The remaining.
There we go. Because I'm probably going to lose it. I don't think we have anybody else on there.
Is that one we all have to sign or just me?
Yes, y'all are on that one. Some of them they don't, they just do chairman and secretary, but yeah, no, that one has everybody.
Oh no, that'll be fine. So you have to wait till they come back.
No, I think as long as there was a majority,
Oh, okay.
it'll just be who was here to approve it.
Whoever's here.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Oh, that's got invitation and pledges on here. We don't have to do this.
Yeah.
We can take them off.
All righty. Let's call the regular council meeting to order for Monday, June 13th, 2022, 6:10 p.m. We've already taken care of the invocation, pledges, and roll call of council members.
Sorry.
Hello.
Sorry, my remote doesn't work.
Do we have any public comments for the regular council meeting? I didn't see any on the sign-up sheet, so, but I just wanted to make sure. All righty, then we will move along to item 6, which is the consent agenda, which will be approval of minutes from regular meeting held May 9th, 2022, approval of minutes from special meeting held May 17th, 2022, budget report April 2022, and budget report from May 2022. Do we have any discussion or do we have any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Okay, Councilmember Escalante has made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Strawn's made the second. Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Langford, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect that the motion is carried. Okay, item 7, discussion and action items. Final review and action on replat of 24 lots of the 6.223 acre tract of Glenwood subdivision, also known as Marquee at Magnolia.
It's just formality to get the final approval by council.
Right. So do we have a motion to, motion for the final approval?
I'll make a motion for the final approval.
Okay. Councilmember Langford made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Strawn made the second. Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Langford, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
All right, let the record reflect that the motion is carried. Discussion regarding Larry Johnson Park, presented by Keep Richwood Beautiful. Kimberly Mayer.
Mayor and Council, currently in our parks line item, we have $6,100 earmarked for a monument sign for Larry Johnson Park, similar to the one that we erected at Ellis Park in December of 2020. After receiving our first bid, we discovered that due to an increased supply cost of 50%, the price for the sign is now almost doubled what we budgeted for, just under $10,000. So I took this information to our board, and they have unanimously agreed that we should postpone the park sign and instead use these funds for some simple park upgrades at Larry Johnson Park. It would be something very similar to the pictures that you see here. This is a playground done at the Light Church on 288B. What's shown here can be done for at or about $5,000. Since this is a large amount of money to be spent, especially for KRB, we wanted to make you aware of the changes that we have planned and see if you have any feedback or thoughts before we proceed. What questions can I answer about this, if any?
I think that's
it's
a
a good
great,
idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I can't believe the sign went up that much, but
Yeah.
everything is going up. It's just part of it, but
I had just asked him to
But I
come,
love that.
just because we had talked about it going towards the sign during budget, and I don't want there to not be a sign and then be other stuff, and we'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, what happened?
no, I think that's a great
I think it's
idea.
great.
Mhm.
And I assume in the future there would be a discussion on rededicating the park with a sign.
Absolutely, in the future, absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Is there's a sign still there now that,
It's like a little wooden.
There's
it's
a
like
small
yeah, yeah.
It's
So there
not like
is
the other
something
parks.
to designate for as of now,
Something
but
very
just
small,
not,
not what we're,
not
not
what
what
we're
we would
in.
like to see, but something very small for now.
Yeah, thanks to Don Malone and Karen Trom, we found the Larry's wife, and she's tickled about it. It might even just bring her out there for just to show her the new stuff, and then tell her that the signs, we're still working on the sign.
Yes, absolutely. So Mayor Boykin has put me in contact with several people to give me more of a history of who Larry Johnson was and his, commitment to the city. And so, yes, at that time when we get ready for rededication and things like that, we'll definitely do, another ceremony.
I think it's great.
All right.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Okay. Item C, discuss, consider, and select an administrative service provider to, I'm going to have to get new glasses, to complete project implementation for the Community Development Block Grant Mitigation, CDBG MIT funding administered by the Texas General Land Office, or GLO.
Mayor Council, this is approve our administrator for this grant coming up.
And we, a team, B team here, me, Eric, Trish, and Cliff, didn't make Chief do this, he left out, scored the 3 bids that came in. Public management group, public management scored highest on average. I believe we have a representative from that company here to answer any questions you may have. The bid packets were in your agenda packet. If you have any questions, staff's recommendation is to award public management with the contract.
Okay, council members, are there any questions, or do we have a motion?
What was the total amount of funding from the GLO for this particular CBDG that they'll be managing?
Allocation was on
The allocation amount?
that? He may know.
2.4.
2.4 million.
Somebody knows. Finance director.
Yeah, I guess the management fees usually, 10% of that?
That was in the bid, and I think that one was 10.
So just real quick,
Go ahead.
hello, good evening. I'm Patrick Wiltshire with Public Management. We proposed a fee of $155,000. It's a flat fee. That's much less than what the caps are for the program. We're based out of Houston, so I live in Dickinson. We're not that far from y'all, so we felt pretty confident with that proposed cost. But it would be paid out of the grant. So that is and there's no local match requirement for this program. It's just a flat fee. Now this number has to get finalized with the HJC and in the GLO, but we expect that to be forthcoming over the next 30 days or so, and then go on from there. So our fee is approximately 6% of your allocation.
No, and that's fixed, there's no variable?
No,
Shortcomings
yeah.
that
So
we've seen.
if, barring any substantial changes to your project within the implementation of that, and I would say this, the only thing that changes is if we're conducting an environmental review and we have to do an archaeological study, which that happens more and more, or a biological study or an endangered species, a wetlands delineation, so if we're doing major drainage, that will come up. Since we don't know the project entirely yet, if we're into the design and we realize we have to acquire easement and we're going to be handling that, that would be different. But I mean, for the most part, we're not nickeling and diming the contract by any means. We want to kind of feel good about that fee. That's why we proposed it.
Okay. Good.
Any further questions? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So you have to reword this.
I would say
Make a motion to award public management
yes.
for the administrative services to complete project implementation for the Community Development Block Grant Mitigation CBDG funding administered by the Texas General Land Office.
Okay, we have a motion made by Councilmember Escalante. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Langford made the second. Councilmember Strong, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Langford, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion is carried. Thank you. All right. Moving right along to item D. Discuss and consider adoption of ordinance 22-492 and ordinance 22-493 establishing tax rate exemptions for disability and homestead respectively.
Mayor and council, this last year and year before last, but we weren't really in a position to take advantage of this. So we're going to provide this now and then turn right around and ask for a rate increase on a few things immediately hereafter.
We're good cop, bad cop tonight.
One of the big issues, and it's a shame Mark is not here to hear this, but we're in a position to I think to offer one, if not both, of these tax exemptions. In your packet, we have highlighted the rates at which we believe we can sustain this for our citizenry. The impact, and I'll let Trish talk about this, but 1% local exemption would be roughly $16,000 less revenue. You move over to the disabled option. We're recommending the $25,000 exemption. We've recommended, highlighted on your screen there. The yellow is what we already offer, and I'll let Trish take it from there.
Yes, so this comes up every year by July 1st. If we are going to offer exemptions to our residents, we have to notify the county by July 1st. As Eric said, we are in a position now where I feel comfortable giving a tax break to those in our community that I feel deserve a tax break or could very, very much need a tax break. This year, our assessed values are up. I'm expecting a positive result when we go to calculate our tax rate, meaning, you know, the citizenry will be happy. But this is another way to help because part of the fact is because our assessed values are up, that means their tax rate or their assessed values are up. So we currently offer a $25,000 exemption for everyone over 65. And these exemptions, I do want to stipulate, are only for your main residents. It's not for rental properties. It's not for second homes or businesses. It's for main residents. And
It's right above.
I read about it.
Yeah, just scooch up. There you go.
so this gives you an idea. This is, of course, not every town in our area, but it's most of them. Who gives the exemptions? The HS, homestead exemption, is a percentage. The smallest amount it can be is $5,000, but it is set as a percentage, and you can see the cities that offer that. over 65, that's the one that we currently offer. It has to be a minimum of 3,000. We offer 25. And then the disabled persons, we are one of only 2 cities on this list that don't offer that. And it's also a minimum of $3,000. So the disabled would kick in any time someone is found disabled by the Social Security Administration. So it's not our determination. All exemptions are filed through the county. It's not a paperwork thing for us. It's strictly through the county. So you can go back to that screen you were on. So the county, Kristen, I can't think of her last name, the one that,
Alana.
yeah, Alana. She calculated this for me, gave me some examples. These are not all inclusive of the amounts we could use, but it's, you know, pretty standard. So for the homestead exemption, if we did a 1% exemption, which, as Eric said, it would cost, or another way to say it, reduce our revenue by $16,000. And the average savings would be $16 a year per parcel. We currently do the $25,000 exemption in the second column. That's for the over 65. And so that currently reduces our revenue by $47,000. If we went with the disabled with the same amount, it would reduce our revenue by $12,719. So what I'm recommending is to match the, or what staff's recommending, is to match the over 65 that we offer now for the disabled, and then do the 1% for the homestead to get our toes in the water. You know, right now we are sitting really pretty nice financially, and I feel that this is a way that we can give back to those members of our community that could use the help. Do you have any questions on that?
I got one. And it's probably a stupid question, but just for clarification. It says over 65. So does that mean 66? Or does that mean 65 and over? Because I know I'm going to get asked this.
Let me see if it's in this. To be quite honest, I'm not sure. In the wording, 65 or older, in the wording of the statute. Thank you. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to.
Well, I know that I'm going to get asked because
Yes.
being a senior citizen, I get a lot of
And
senior
it is
citizen
up
questions.
to the citizens to apply for these. It's not up to us to go out and say, hey.
Right.
But yes. Any other questions? Now, we don't have to do both. We don't have to do any. We can change the one we have. But what I'm proposing is to do the 1% for the homestead, leave the over 65 and over where it is, and then add the disabled to match that.
Have we explored under the estimated tax levy for the adopted tax rate? I know right now it's 25,000. If we did a 40,000 flat, that way it's shared amongst all residents.
Oh, to just give a exemption on
Like the homestead, the homestead is 40?
Yeah, right now we have a $25,000 homestead, right?
No, right now we
No.
have it for over 65
The
and
homestead
over.
has to be a
That's the-
percentage with a
We
minimum
don't
of
have
5,000.
Oh, okay.
We only offer the 65 and over,
Gotcha.
or
Okay.
25.
Never mind.
So right now, we do not offer any homestead. So if we implemented the 1%, that would, for all homeowners that are,
Gotcha.
that's their primary residence, if the 1% is less than 5,000, the minimum is 5,000.
Okay. I got it. I was looking
Does
at
that
it
answer your
flip-flop.
question?
Yeah, I was looking at it flip-flop.
Anything else? I feel very fortunate to be able to say that we can actually do something that's going to help our citizens financially, and I think it would be appreciated.
So you mentioned earlier, good cop, bad cop. Where's the?
The bad cop.
It's
the next agenda item.
We're not there yet.
That's
So I
the
want to make
next
a
one.
decision based off, not knowing what the.
Oh, no, they're two different
It's
things.
on your next
Okay.
agenda item. And,
Yeah.
But,
state
but
packet.
have great faith in knowing this covers that, so we're good.
Thank y'all for looking into that. I think it's a great idea, too.
I feel like.
Well, I
it's our
think
duty.
we had, pardon me, Trish, we had talked about this 2 years ago, and we just simply weren't in the fiscal position to do it comfortably. Last year, we looked at it. We had some unknowns, things that were looming out there as far as capital items that we just, the better part of caution. This year, unequivocally, without a doubt, as presented, these are estimates, but they're close. Without a doubt, this has a minimal impact on city.
And these amounts that Kristen projected for us is based on our current tax rate.
Okay.
And we don't know yet what our upcoming tax rate will be, but the savings could be, or the cost to us could be a little less. And by going with the 1%, we're, as I said, dipping our toes in. Future's kind of unforeseen financially in this country, not just this community. So if we find ourselves in a better position, you can revisit this every year. We could always raise it. You can lower it as well, but you kind of hate to do that to the citizens. So by starting at the lower amount, I feel confident.
Any more questions? All right. Thanks, Tricia.
So on this, if we motion to approve either of the ordinance, if you could, so the first ordinance listed, 492, is the disability ordinance, the exemption for disability, and then the 493 is the homestead. We've left the amounts blank so that council could get the option to take our recommendation or choose however you'd like. So if you could specify, if you want to approve, motion to adopt ordinance 492 with the $25,000 exemption, and then 493 with the 1%, if you go that way.
Or the recommended
Or you could
amount.
just say in the staff recommended amount.
Yeah,
I just need
staff
to
recommended.
have it so we can go in and amend that, the ordinance after the fact of what y'all approved.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 492, the staff recommended amount, and 493, the staff recommended amount.
Okay, we have a motion made by Councilmember Langford. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Councilmember Strawn. Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Langford, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, item E, the bad cop. Oh. Discuss and consider adoption of ordinance 22-491, amending Appendix C fee schedule to amend water and sewer fees.
Yes, so Mayor and Council, this is the part of my presentation tonight that I would rather not have to give. But to give you just a little history, especially for Councilman Langford, who wasn't here last year. Last year we had a rate study conducted by Strand and Associates to kind of map out the next 5 years of where our utility rates needed to be in order to cover operating expenses as well as debt requirements. We have, the North Water Plant debt as well as some other bond issuances from prior years that we have to be sure and to cover. And we also need to be able to cover the operating expenses for the enterprise fund. So they came up with a schedule that they recommended. The first increase was put into place last year, effective October 1st, 2021. And that was a sewer-only increase. And then for fiscal year '23, which would be effective October 1st of this year, would be a suggested increase in both water and sewer rates. So we were going to bring those to you as published in the rate study. Then BWA sent us a letter, and our cost for water is going up 12.5%, effective October 1st. What we pay BWA is going up 12.5%. So in order to pass that cost through to the users, I have recalculated the tax, or the rate increase from Strand to also include that 12.5%. So I gave you, I believe I gave you each a schedule that kind of outlined that. But the rate for water, which is currently $29.79 for the first 2,000 gallons, would increase to $34.91. The next increment, 2,000 gallons up to 20,000 gallons, would be $5.71 per thousand. And then over 20,000 would be $5.94 per thousand. The outside rate, which is an RV park, would increase to $1,071.54. So it's a sizable increase, but it is only a pass-through of our expense. We are not in this to make money. We are in this to present a balanced budget to you for the enterprise fund and to keep our heads above water. And if we don't move forward with the increases as Strand outlined, as well as passing on the 12.5%, we will find ourselves going in the red. Then on the sewer side, it's strictly based on the rate study. And so the base bill would go from $25.47 to $26.29. Sewer mirrors water, so it's based on the gallons of water you use, because we assume what comes out of the faucet goes down the drain. And so the second tier would be $4.59 instead of $4.47, and the RV park would be $894.57, an increase from $867.27. I don't like to raise rates. I don't want to publish, what the rate study has for future years, because things can change. We can find that things can change, and I'll be calculating those in an ongoing fashion before I present to you. But for this year, this is what we've calculated that we need to do.
Any questions?
It says BWA said what the 12.5% increase stems from, like the chlorination cost, disinfectant
Yes.
cost, all
The
that. I'm
manufacturer
assuming.
for fuel and chemicals.
Okay.
And the chemical cost is basically nothing.
Yeah.
We're feeling it too.
I see it in my pool as well. The price of chlorine is
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah,
If you
every
can
time the
even get it.
diesel, every time the diesel gets the way it is, they get hit with additional fuel fees on the chemicals, and then the chemicals go up anyway. So it's terrible when we have these problems with the fuel.
And the last time BWA gave us an increase was in 2019. It was about a third of this.
Right.
But, we, as good stewards for the city, we cannot absorb that. We have to pass it on to keep our enterprise fund in the black.
I would just hope as if the economy gets better and we see supply chain issues, get better, that they would correlate that with lower rates and not maintain their same high rates if their
I believe,
prices.
because they send us kind of an accounting of their costs and how it's determined. So I feel that they're good stewards of the money that comes to them as well. And that's one reason I mentioned that I will be looking at the amounts given to us in the rate study annually. Those things may change. That we may have to either go up or down from what they have. I would prefer down, but
So is it a yearly contract with BWA? So will they just, it'll be this way for the full year and then we'll reevaluate next
we
year?
get a letter every year of what it's going to be.
They have some variables in the pricing. Being on the board, I remember that. Number one, even though they have their own water, rights, they are paying Dow to pump the water. So that slides every year. Plus, when we get into a situation where we have droughts and they have to get Brazos River Authority to release water from, say, I think they just did a release this week from Possum Kingdom, which is not really going to help us, or the industrial side that much, but because of all the sodium in it. But when they make those releases, they have to pay the BRA that as well. And when I was on the board from 2000 to 2010, and over that time, they went up like 175% BRA did on their water releases. I asked them about it, and they said, well, because we can. So, but water is a big business, and to get it from one place to another, it's kind of tough.
And it's something we all need.
But the chemicals, I worked with them when I was in the plants, and those things, the chemicals that they use, and the state regulations that require them to get down to like the cryptosporidium to zero. All of the chemicals that they use to keep the water clean and make it drinkable it's a lot of money, and it does more than likely what will happen when the next rate change comes up, or when the next time they try to or decide to change the rate. It's probably going to have to go up because of the rising cost of the water and the problems that we have on the Brazos River. Because Brazos is a good source of water, but we're losing a lot of it with recycling of the water and the wastewater. And so that water that didn't come back doesn't come down here. System out there.
I did want to make it clear, this would go into effect the first billing period
Right.
after October 1st.
Right.
And we're bringing it to you early, both because I need to budget based on these rates.
Right.
And we also want to allow our businesses and our multi-unit facilities to know ahead of time so that they bring it to you early. Also just to let the citizens know that it's coming.
And we put that on the water bill or something, don't we? Do we
Ahead
put
of time?
Yeah, on the water bill ahead of time
put
to give them
some
a
sort
heads.
of-
What do you think the monthly impact would be for your average resident? Couple bucks?
We figured that out, it was about 70 a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's, well, if you flip back
On
to
the
the
base
fee
bill, you
fee
mean?
schedule, it's roughly $6, I think,
on
$7.
the base bill,
Yeah.
per gallon, it's hard to
Yeah,
say.
the
Depending on
base
usage.
bill will be going up 6 something a month, times 12. So I don't want to say that's not a major impact, because if I was having to count every dollar and living paycheck to paycheck, it would make a difference. But we're trying to keep it as low as we can. And as I said earlier, we're not trying to run the enterprise fund as a profit-making business. We're trying to cover our expenses.
Keep it balanced.
Yes.
But we do provide this very, very valuable service to the community, and we try to do it as economically as we can. Any other questions? So attached, you have the entire fee schedule, just because it is one schedule, but on the fee schedule, you have the previous rate, it's in red, but struck through with the new rate in black. Anything else?
Okay, any further discussion, or do we have a motion?
make a motion to approve ordinance number 22-491, amending Appendix C, fee schedule of the Code of Ordinances, water and sewer fees.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Escalante has made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Strawn's made the second. Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Langford, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion has been carried. All right. Capital Improvement Projects update. Clifton.
Council, we have this evening, North Water Plant. The tank is complete. They are doing the logo right now is out there this morning to check orientation. I wanted to say it in open, the color currently on the tank, I think, did not meet some individuals' expectations. It didn't meet mine. I talked with the HOA when we started this process to be inclusive about the color, being in the neighborhood in the HOA and wanted to get their input. We picked, or the HOA selected a color. We had to change the palette, or the palette's changed, the colors selections changed. So we had a discussion again, and I did confirm with the paint company, NK Coatings, that our selection is what's on the tank. It just did not translate on steel in sunlight as it does on paper. But that's, the final coating is done, and the logo's being put on there now.
Okay.
So the booster pump station, they're currently reviewing shop drawing submittals. We have received the TxDOT permit for the drive. So that's all said and done, and we can start moving as soon as the tank contractor is done. A Walnut Drive water line replacement. Skull Hill construction started on June 6th. They already have the Walnut Street line in and complete. It has been pressure tested, passed. We pulled a sample today for bacteriological analysis. We'll get those results back tomorrow. The line was thoroughly flushed. If all goes well, they'll make service attachments on Thursday, and then do the cut and plug of the old main on Friday. That's the plan as of now. The stormwater master plan drainage project, west ditch is complete. The guys, I've been sending them over regularly to irrigate the slopes. We want to get grass established on those slopes as soon as possible. Try to prevent any erosion if rains do come. They've been working on that. The east ditch is in progress. I believe they did the final concrete pour for the first section. That would be between FM 2004 and Audubon Woods Drive. I think they completed that today, so they'll be jumping the street and continuing on. The ARPA grant projects, Strands received the city's signed agreements. They sent them to their main office in Madison, Wisconsin, and they're waiting for them to come back, and then they'll send us our signed agreements, and we'll be good to go. We did provide an update to David, I'm sorry I can't pronounce his last name, of GrantWorks, of their proposed schedule, and everything's moving along accordingly with the ARPA grant. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions?
Do we know anything about streets yet? Have we heard anything? I know we talked about it starting soon, but I wasn't sure if we heard anything yet.
We do. We had a proposed assumed timeline from the county. I think it's going to be around the 1st of August.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
That's estimate.
Probably
Perfect.
somewhere within those 30 days.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was out that way this weekend, Cliff, and that site's looking pretty good.
Sir?
I said the north plant's looking pretty good. the site is out
Yeah,
there?
it's getting there. It's,
Ready to put in that driveway though, I'm sure. It's such a mess trying to
Amen.
drive through all the mud.
well, we're just ready to get it done, so we get it
Yes.
online.
Yes.
Get the plan online.
For sure.
Well, thank you. City manager's report.
Mayor, council, I will spare everybody in the room from the reading of last Friday's regurgitation of a page and a half. The only thing that's changed since then is the passing of Mr. Ellis, and thank you, Kim, for posting what you did on Mr. Ellis and his impact in our community. Our heartfelt condolences go out to his family. That's all I've got to add to that. Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Rob, is there any questions for the city manager?
I was gonna say, I'm glad you put in there about painting the blue. I was so close to asking if that can be something we could add, because I feel like it needed a little, so I'm glad you already had that on there.
It's not a complete repaint of the building, just
Just
the
the blue.
columns and the blue.
The
Yes.
blue just
So-
needed a touch-up. It
Looks
was
a little
getting
chalky.
Yes, it
Yes.
was getting worn, so I'm glad you were on that, thank you.
We had power washed and cleaned,
Mm-hmm.
and it did.
Worse.
The mildew build up and what they had, the chemicals they had to use, it had a bit of an effect.
Yeah,
Washed it out a little.
well, yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna look brand new.
Okay. Councilmember comments and reports. Councilmember Strawn.
I don't think I have anything.
Okay. Councilmember Escalante.
Nothing for this meeting, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Langford.
Nothing for this meeting.
All righty. Moving to the mayor's report. I too want to express my deep sorrow in the loss of Gary Ellis. And I've had more than one of the citizens that's lived in Richwood contact me this weekend, actually some out of Clute. But I think one of the most, I don't know, I ain't going to say makes you feel good, or one of the comments was, well, I bet him and Pat's up there right now, and Dorothy's all up there figuring out and talking about what's been done and where to go next. So he's a good man, and fought for his country. He came back. He worked hard, worked his life, and worked for his family. And in the midst of that, he gave back to his community, and in more ways than one. I'd like to thank again Nadia and the chief for allowing Nadia to go to Uvalde. I believe that is going to be one of the best educational. As sad as it is, she'll be bringing back a wealth of knowledge from a department and an area that's had such a major tragedy. And that knowledge may be, it'll be something that we can build on here, and hopefully we won't. We'll benefit from their tragedy, unfortunately. But when I got the message that there was talk about it going, or someone going, Nadia was the first one I thought of, because she's from that area. And number two, that this is the right thing to do. And with all of the information glitches that's going on up there, you got 2 EOCs and 2 commands. We were going in, we would be sending someone in to help the city in the area. And I know from my son-in-law being up there a few weeks ago, the community welcomed them with open arms. So I appreciate personally, as a citizen and as a human, I appreciate the thought that it took, and the heart that it took for her to go up there. And thank you very much. And Tricia, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Survived 2 years working with Eric.
tell you what, you go back 3 years and you'd see me with a lot less gray hair. No,
Because I'm here.
because you're here. No. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm got sinuses and allergies all messing me up. But yes,
Thank you.
you have done an outstanding job, and you just bring so much to the table and have done so well with something that just got thrown in your lap.
Thank you, and I appreciate being here.
And your prayers rock too.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
And Cliff says if you have any problems, just blame it on the police department. Okay. With that said, future agenda items.
Mayor Council will be bringing forward, or at least reviewing between now and then, some administrative issues with building codes, and we get with legal and look at some them and BBG at some possible changes. Not guaranteeing anything yet, but we're gonna look at a few changes.
Okay. Anything else that any council members?
I believe we'll have a budget item, but
Okay.
We have a budget workshop scheduled before this next meeting. I was going to look.
I don't believe so. I think it's after.
It's the week after,
Okay.
Oh, when do we have it set? Sorry.
July 18th.
July 18th, okay. Make sure.
Okay.
So we'll
Plan
meet the
ahead.
11th and the 18th.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to look.
That's all I've got for now. I'm sure we'll have something.
Okay. Anything else, anyone? With that being said, it is 6:56 p.m. We are adjourned.
Good job.
Well, it would have been better if I'd have quit forgetting everything.
I think you did just fine.
I'm sorry, Kerry. I'm so sorry. I have these moments where things just fly out of my head.